Good evening and welcome to the RSA NFL Show. We're back after what seems an age since I think we did it just before the draft in April, so it's been a long time. Back with our regulars, Simon and Ash. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate.
All good, thanks, Rick. Glad to be back. Glad to have the NFL back. Feels like it's been a long couple of months without it.
It has. No, I know. It's a weird one. It's gone quickly, but also it's been it's been a long time. The year's gone quickly anyway, if not the time without football. But yeah, it is good to have it back. What are you guys thinking of it all then? What have you been up to? What have you been up to over the summer? If you can call it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, working most of it.
Yeah, but a bit the same. And in the meantime, I decided that I thought I'm a sucker for punishment. So because I did Keely 2 years ago, and now I signed up to climb. We'll do the Inca Trail next year now. So that's what's been my focus now for the last few months. So I'm working towards that, which is April of next year. So yeah, try to get myself in shape for that. But yeah, as I said, just a sucker for punishment, really.
Yeah, fair play, mate. I think after Kilimanjaro that'd be enough, but
yeah.
Why not?
Going back for more.
At least I've got all this stuff this time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be fine, mate. But yeah, that's good. It's definitely more interesting than anything I've been doing. So, well done. But yes, let's talk some football then. So it's the first weekend, obviously. It's good to see where everyone's at, how they've come through it. There's no other place to start really than what was always going to be the biggest game of the weekend, the kickoff to the season. We have my Chiefs going up against Simon's Ravens. So what did you think of your boys then? No, I'll ask you about my boys. I'll let Ashley speak about you because you'll just be buying. So yeah, let's speak about our Chiefs. What do you think of them? Obviously coming off, won a great preseason for them really. What do you think of the team, and can you speak about them without anger in your voice? Simon?
Sorry, was this? Sorry, thought we were going for Ashley then. Yeah, I think it's a work in progress, and I think some of the things which I knew coming into this game were going to be a problem, a bit of a question mark, really. So, for instance, there were some few question marks over the offensive line, and I think that really stood out like a sore thumb in this game, really, because I think there were one or two occasions where you seem to blast past us, and I think even as Chris Jones got the better of, I felt sorry for Rosengarten, who literally came in on his first snap, and then that was his welcome to the NFL moment with Chris Jones kept bearing down on him as well, which is a pity because it felt like Derrick Henry didn't really have the space to work with to really gain yardage. I mean, I think he was limited sort of 50, 60 yards for the game, which I thought would be a lot more than that. So Chiefs did really well at sort of controlling the line of scrimmage. I think there were a couple of missed opportunities as well. For instance, there was a field goal we missed in the first half, and there was a fourth down which we went for, but we didn't get it. I mean, you can't sort of give away those opportunities really, because we've cut on those, we've come away with nothing. And I felt like Lamar Jackson was really trying to do the bulk of it on his own, even trying to. I think he was the one who was really pushing us forward, and especially in the run game as well as the passing game.
Yeah, well, he spoke about his team, like I said, Ash. I knew he would. But on the flip side, then, Ash, obviously, again, didn't know what to expect with them. They go in for the three-peat, as they say. They live up to the billing in their first game.
Yeah, first game's always tricky, isn't it? It can always trip you up. But no, they came out. They looked solid. I know they lost some big players in that defense, but they looked just as good in that defense. I thought. Obviously, you've kept the key players, like you got Rice playing, you've got Checker playing. Obviously, Kelsey's there. And now you got the added pace of Worthy to come into it, and I thought his first game he gets 2 touchdowns. He's like a younger version of Tyreek Hill, really, isn't he? With his pace and everything, he can definitely be built into that mold for sure. He looks a great player. I don't know why the Bills passed on him. They got a habit of doing that with you and the Chiefs and passing up on players they could have had. They must be kicking themselves not going for that because they're crying out for that. But no, I thought the Chiefs, they looked solid. Got a bit close at the end with the Ravens and tiny bit of that toe over the line. But I think on the Ravens' point of view, that offensive line needs work. But I don't see any major concerns. I think he'll make the playoffs quite easy. I think Derrick Henry will grow into that offense, and him and Lamar Jackson are going to be, I think, unstoppable in certain games. But no, I think if you're the Chiefs, you're happy. You got a good home win, start the season off to get that three-peat.
Wow, that's it. Yeah, I was watching it, and obviously the first three quarters I was watching very comfortably. To be perfectly honest, I don't decide about it in our chat, but yeah, I think as Simon said, the offensive line, the penalties they were given, even people like Ronnie Stanley, who's obviously very experienced, giving away stupid penalties, and then like I said, that Worthy he looks brilliant. He looks quick. He looks what we need really. Like I said, Hill is gone, and just shows. I can't believe nobody picked up Spagnuolo in the off season because
no, I know
he's got the defense carried on where they left off in the playoffs last year. So
exactly,
yeah, I kind of agree with you. Really, I think that both teams are going to comfortably make the playoffs this season. I think the Ravens got enough there when they did start playing in the fourth quarter. So Likely and Flowers, they seem to be getting hit and finding gaps in the defence, as you alluded to, Ash, with the likes of Snead gone and Willie Gay gone as well. But yeah, the other guys who came in for them, to be honest, stepped up. And yes, I was very happy to come away with it at the end. I was a bit twitchy when you had that last play, but I thought, I didn't watch it live, so I thought there's not much time left. Surely they haven't made it. And
missed it by a toe. That's all I'm saying. We missed it by a toe.
Yeah.
Well, he'd have gone for would Lamar gone for the 2 to try and win it?
Yeah, they wanted to. You've seen the hardball call for 2. He's going for it, wasn't he? I think he's just been aggressive. I think the first game of the season, I think you could afford to kind of, away to the Chiefs, I think you could afford to maybe go for it a bit more. But they were going to go for 2. It would have been interesting if that touchdown was in.
Yeah.
Oh, it would, yeah.
And obviously the positive for us that looks like Rashee Rice isn't going to get charged until maybe after the Super Bowl, so that'd be interesting.
December, I heard. That was December.
Well, I thought they said around the new year, but they didn't really give.
Oh, I thought I heard December on the game on Thursday.
Maybe.
So then knock him out for the playoffs, probably, but we'll see.
No, yeah, that went well. There we go. We won't need him with Worthy, no, it's fine. Yeah. Healthy can play the low game. But yes, no, it was fine. It was a good win. It was a good game, to be fair. And yeah, it was good for the neutrals and Simon. I'm sure that the Ravens came back into it. Raised my heart rate a bit. Okay, let's move on to your guys then, Ash. Obviously, we'll talk about it a bit before Ashley gives her verdict. But I said to you off camera before we started, probably the only game that really you would have said didn't go to form with their win over the Bengals. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think the Bengals were surprisingly disappointing, and I think really it's a thing from an AFC North point of view. I think we've had some really mixed results from teams where it looked like a really strong division, where some have actually looked subpar really, and I think the Bengals really showed that. And you look at all the weapons they've got as well, and I wonder now, almost like a similar situation where with the Giants, letting Saquon Barkley go, will the Bengals miss Mixon as well? Because I think he was, for me, he was such an underrated back really, and I felt like with the Bengals they were just, I don't know, they just didn't, they just weren't firing, and but then they've got all these weapons, but I don't know, they just could not seem to get it to click. But then that's just shows that just pays a big compliment to how well the Pats played, really, and just how well they controlled this. Really, I thought there'd be so many more points in this game, but I felt the Bengals, just the run game's just not there. It's just not a. I think they've almost become too pass heavy, really, and they just don't have that balance anymore. But it's one game. It could be a different story in a couple of weeks' time when they get into the flow of things. But I thought the Bengals were really average to start this one.
Yeah, Ash, obviously, like I said, always good to start off with a win.
Yeah.
Maybe, as you said, you may be reliant on your defense as much, but as it always is with the Patriots, there's never too many points between the teams.
No. Our defense, I think, was our standout last year. I think it was easily a top 10 defense, maybe higher than that. We've locked a lot of those players in on long-term contracts over the off-season. We've got a new coach now who is very defense-minded. I think you're going to expect this Patriots defense to cause issues, I think, over the season. I don't think we're going to be a team that are going to get hammered week in, week out. I think that defense will step up. We now have a quarterback who's a bit with Brissett, who was better than Matt Jones. He's a step up. Obviously, they're going to let Drake May blend in, let him sit for a bit and learn, which they never do with Matt Jones, to be fair. But they're going to learn, and they're going to let Drake May sit, which I think is the right thing. We will see him at times, I think, this season. There will be games where he's going to get his shot. I think they're doing the right thing. But in that game, the difference was we had a running game in Stevenson, and the Bengals never. They couldn't get it going in the air, so they couldn't rely on a running back because it just wasn't there. But we did. We had Stevenson, who I thought had a great game. I think he's one of the best running backs in the game. He had like nearly 150 yards in that game. He got a touchdown, which is the difference. I think there's a lot there to build on. We've got some young players coming through. Douglas. We've got Polk from the draft. I think this is the reset for the Patriots. This is the season where I think we start to see the Patriots going forward. But yeah, all in all, we got a win. Tough place to start. I think the Bengals got a lot of issues sort out. Their contract issues are not going away.
No.
You could tell some of them have been training much. Chase being one, and obviously Joe Burrow coming off 2 bad injury hit seasons, really. But I think they'll be okay, Bengals, once they get in the flow.
Yeah. No, you're right. They got an easy conference as well, and there's not many 2 teams.
Saw that coming.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's always the same with the Patriots. Even when you've obviously not had the best couple of seasons,
No.
the last few, but you've always been in games, even when you've lost. I think that's the knack of of Belichick teams. Now it seems to have continued with a new coach, but yes. I think your conference always looks like a tough one, but as you said, is that there's teams in there that do seem to slip away as well. So we'll have to see. It's a good start though. Good always to get a win on week 1. It's good for 2 of us to get our start. And
it's not usually me, is it? It's usually you two lately.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit then about some of the new guys. Obviously, I seen Kirk Cousins' first game as a Falcon, Ash. What do you think? It seemed to start off well, and then the defensive line just left it.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. I don't think. Wasn't the ideal game for him to step into. I think he's better off staying at the Vikings, to be honest. To go in there and starting new after the injury that he's had, the age that he is, it's going to be tough. I wasn't blown away at all. I was expecting a bit more from this Falcons team, if I'm being honest. I think they've invested quite a bit this off season. And yeah, there's pieces there to work with. There's obviously no doubt about that. They've got some real weapons. London, Pitts. They're all players that can definitely get stronger as the season goes on and as Kirk Cousins blends in. But obviously over his shoulder is going to be the quarterback they drafted. I forgot his name. I'm surprised they went for a quarterback this offseason. but they did. But he's going to be there waiting for his chance. So I don't know about that Falcons team. I'm expecting more. I'm still. It's only game week 1. Let's see where they are in a few weeks.
Yeah, no, Simon, obviously, like Ash said, it was a tough game for them. In both teams, really. Obviously, Steelers are in your conference. Yeah, both teams really look laggy. Didn't look like they were in the game.
Yeah, they did, and I think with the Steelers, they've really been relying on their defense just to carry them for the last.
TJ Watt mainly.
Yeah, TJ just picked up where he left off really from last year, really, because I mean, I wanted to order a taxi for that offensive line for the Falcons because they were just having a nightmare with him all day, and I think this Steelers defense is looking legit and I think just with the added unfortunate addition of Queen as well, and I think just I think they just look like a well-rounded side, and I think some of the young pieces like Joey Porter will really come. I think he'll really come into his own this year as well. I do think they just, it'll only take them so far, and I think and until they get the situation, even a quarterback as well, because having the Fields was there, but Wilson was dressed. It's still a bit of a confusing situation that they've got there. So I think really they've just got to show something this year, because even at times it was painful to watch them on the offensive side last year for the Steelers.
Yeah, and you think they've got to go with Fields. I know what you're saying. Obviously, Walton was the big name to come first, but surely you've got to put yourself with him. You've seen glimpses in the game of him finding Pickens and them two getting together and getting it working. I think kind of a backstep if you
I don't know. I think they're going to go with Wilson. I think once Wilson's fit, I think he's going to be the guy. He's the one who can sling it. That's what they haven't got. They haven't got a quarterback who can sling that ball downfield. They've got one now with Wilson. When they got to run it, they can do what the Saints do and bring Hill in when they got to run. And that's what I think Fields will be used for, that kind of play. I do think Wilson will be number 1. And they'll finally have a guy who can sling the ball and get the people like Pickens in the game a lot more. Take pressure off the run game too. So they got a great defense, the Steelers, and I think if Wilson comes in and gets that offense going, I think they're going to be a very difficult team to overcome and cause issues.
True. No, that is true. All right, so yeah, let me just put it to you guys then to see who is your team. Ash, who stood out for you then? Are you looking at the all the games played, the 16 games? Who stood out?
The 49ers. I thought they came up against a New York Jets team who have obviously added a lot to that squad. We've got a really good defense. Aaron Rodgers coming back. They got some real weapons. They had no McCaffrey last night, but in comes Mason, runs for over 100 yards, gets a touchdown. Their running game is unbelievable. Their offensive line, defensive line, all of it. Their secondary is good. It is strong, and if they can keep those players fit, you're coming up against a real good defense with that Jets team, but they just swept them away. And what I like about the 49ers is they run when they have to, and Brock Purdy will throw when he has to, and he gets it right when he does. And they bleed the clock so good, and they take that time off the clock and keep the other team on the sides of the pitch. And I don't know, from the whole weekend, I was really impressed with the 49ers when I caught up with that today. I can't see a weakness in that team.
But we say this every year, though, don't we?
We do. Can they go over the line this time? Who knows? I think, no McCaffrey in that team either, and then they still ended up sweeping away. And I don't know. I like this 49ers team. I do. And they've got even more power now in the running game with Mason coming in.
No, there's no doubt that they're stacked team. Surely the last year they can be a stacked team if they don't win it. But yes, I don't know. Just to wind Dave up when he watches this, I hope they're going to choke.
Purdy's going to get paid. And it's all going to change.
Yeah, he'll stop trying. Yeah, stop trying.
Yeah. As the money comes in, that's it.
What about you then, Si? Of what you've seen, who's still a march on the rest?
I like the look of the Eagles this weekend, and I think they came up against a really, there's a good Packers side. All right, minus they've got Packers have taken the injury to as well, a quarterback, and I think this Eagles looks good, and I think the Saquon edition just looks like a match made in heaven, really, and he was just running riot really over a decent Packers team, and I just think this. I think they've almost got all the pieces together now because their front seven looks good. They seem to have all the weapons on offense as well. The only place where I think is a concern for them is really is the back end of that defense for the Eagles, because plays a bit long in the tooth now, and I think are they a bit thin at linebacker? Probably, but the front seven probably carries a lot for them, really, and I do see people like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis really stepping up this year as well. So I think they're definitely gonna be in the conversation of the Final Four for this Eagles team, and I think even and their offensive line just seems to have just not missed a beat as well, and I think. I was really impressed with Jurgens, who stepped in for now retired Kelsey as well, and they just look to be a very, very solid team. Can they stay healthy? That is the main thing, and can when it really matters, can Jalen Hurts sort of cope under that pressure? Then when it comes to those winter games.
Yeah. Can they keep them happy? I think that's the issue. That seemed to what happened in the playoffs last year, wasn't it? There was lots of talk of AJ Brown. There's lots of stuff going around, and that's seems to be the thing. But yeah, Devonta Smith had an amazing game again. He was brilliant. They seemed to find him when they needed to. But like you say, adding Barkley to that attack is a different dimension for him now. They were always quite good at doing that there. Can't remember who was there last year, but was it Swift?
Swift, yeah.
But they always have someone who can do it. But yeah, Barkley's the next level. I think again, you've got to keep him fit. If you look at the last couple of years for the Giants, but yeah, agree. Eagles look good. Yeah, it's a strange one. There's a few teams I thought might do better that failed this. Obviously, the Titans lost. I thought they might do better. But yeah, it's going to be interesting this season. I think there's a lot of teams maybe who are going to be there. Obviously, Houston won their first game. Let's hope they have another good season like last year. Detroit obviously won, didn't they, again? So let's hope that they're as good as they were last year as well. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good season. Based on what we've seen so far, then guys, I'll put you on the spot. We like to do this, especially in the first one when we pick it. Ash, if you had to put a name on who was going to meet in the Super Bowl, who's it going to be?
I'm going to go with, I don't know. I can't see anyone beating the Chiefs on that side. I think the Chiefs are just too good. I think Lions or 49ers for me. They're on the same side, aren't they? Lions, 49ers. Yeah. So I'm going to go Chiefs. I'm going to go Chiefs against either the Lions or 49ers. I can't pick between those two at the minute. After week one, I can't pick between those two. 49ers. I'm going to go with the same as last year.
And do a repeat.
Last year, I am. Yeah.
What about you, Si? You've bagged about the Eagles. Do you think they can go that far?
I think they can, yeah, and I think somebody who could be a dark horse this year, and I think they were a little bit unlucky the other night because of the injuries they suffered, but I wouldn't sleep on this Rams team either, really, because they've got Cooper Kupp is back, and he seemed to pick up where he left off, and it was unfortunate Puka Nacua suffered the knee injury during the game as well. I think what really excited me about this team was just some of those young pieces they've got and some of the additions they made on defense as well. I think I think this team could be a dark horse, and when people like and Verse and so on, they get some reps, and I think this team could be scary. And even it's just even Tyron Johnson, who would have been on anybody's list to put up a big game on the weekend, seemed to be a good third or fourth option. So and I think for me, Stafford, he's been so consistent for so many years. Maybe he doesn't get the credit he deserves. So I think, watch this space on this Rams team. I think they could. I think they can cause some problems.
True. Yeah. No, they do come through. I go in left field. I think if he comes back fit, I'm still going with the Packers on that side of it, because I just think attacking wise, yes, defensively you could argue the 49ers are better defensively, but they give them a good game. Well, you could play them in this.
Yeah, it was a close game, wasn't it? Yeah.
They should have won it in my eyes anyway. I think they were probably the better team for most of it. So I'm going to go for the Packers on that side, as long as Jordan Love's injury. I think
they've lost Aaron Jones, haven't they? And that's a big loss for me. The Packers, they've lost that run game. They've lost Aaron Jones, and he got over 1,000 yards a season. You're going to lose that at some point. It's going to be games where you're going to lose his presence.
True.
Agree, and Jacobs is not the same back.
He's not the same.
No,
he's good, but he's not Aaron Jones.
I still think he'll do enough with the likes of Watson and Dobbs and co.
It's keeping Watson fit, though, isn't it? Watson has a terrible history of hamstring problems, and it's whether they can keep BayBay fit. That's the issue. It didn't help Jordan Love's being carted off in the first game either. So
well, that's the issue. Like I said, is relying on him only being out for 3 or 4 games for me.
Exactly.
But yeah, I fancy them. I obviously want to say we're going to do the 3P. But I think this year the Dolphins might do it.
Okay.
I won't go mad and say that Mac Jones is going to come in and do the business just to wind Ashley up. But
he's Jaguars, isn't he?
What's that?
He's gone to the Jaguars.
Gone to the Jags, yeah.
Dolphins.
Mixed up them two. Yeah, I don't know why I mixed them two up. But yeah,
I don't know. It's gone to the Dolphins. I don't know what their backup is. Pickens? No, I don't know.
Has Fitzpatrick come out with that?
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yes, I reckon Tua's going to have a season if he can stop getting concussed.
Yeah. They've got a good team.
The Hill and Waddle last year, how they never made at least the conference last
year.
And
Mostert's a really good player.
It's beyond me. I think they might do it.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate towards the end of last year where they were
injuries at the end.
Decimated by injuries. You're right, Ash. Decimated. Yeah. You think Chubb went down, Jalen Phillips was down. They just the injury was like the injury updates were like a shopping list. There were a lot of bad injuries, but yeah, I think I could go with that. I think Miami could be someone who could be a force to be reckoned with.
They're not good in the cold, though, are they? They're not.
No.
Come to January, they go. You got to have home advantage, Miami, because I think they don't play well in the cold. Tua doesn't play well in the cold.
The Super Bowl will be in New Orleans, though, won't it? So that'll be all right.
Yeah, but it's getting there, isn't it? If they haven't got home field advantage, there's going to be at least one cold game.
No, you're gonna need Chiefs and Bills to lose.
And the Ravens. It's cold up there too.
That's what Jacksonville or someone like that gets in.
They might be all right then.
Mike Jones lead them to the conference game.
Yeah, you can see it now, can't you?
I know. Yeah, I just put it out there as something different. Obviously, I'm hoping it's going to be the Chiefs again, but again, Rashee Rice goes missing. Who knows? But yes, no. So it was good to have it back, as you said, though, guys. And we'll see how it pans out. I'm sure we'll be back next week now to obviously discuss some more football. I'm not sure what games are on this. Anyone know what games are on now coming on week 2 that's watchable? Who's on Sunday night?
I think you've got the Bengals, Rick. I think that's a 9:30 game.
We're the middle game, aren't we?
I'm gonna try and I'm going away. I'm off to Gran Canaria Thursday, so I'm hoping to watch it over there by the bar. I'm back Tuesday though. I'm on there 5 days, so I'm back for Tuesday's podcast.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. With a tan and a sangria.
With a tan, yeah.
Yeah. You've had more holidays than I've had Sunday dinners lately, yeah.
I know. Bit of a jet set lately, but
I know. Got to start saying that. We have to start saying every week. She's based this week. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I sit now with the year. Last bit of sun before the winter kicks in.
No, I don't blame you. That's fair. All right then, guys. Well, thank you as always for catching up today. It's been good, as we said, to see some football and talk some football. We'll be back next week then to break down the other game. Let's hope that the three of us will pick up some victories next week as well. But thanks as always, guys. Thanks to the viewers, obviously, who always listen to us and view us on YouTube. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll speak next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye.